And Rudy will be here eventually.
Good. Ah,
A lot of walking today.
Who? Oh, good.
Me, a lot of walking.
Does this say that we're being recorded?
Yes.
kind of.
Where?
On the
Before.
bottom was on there, and I turned.
It says sent to a third party.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we each have to do, I thought it does it till you click on it. Okay. Welcome to Garden of the Spirit class studying apples in the orchard for the second time beginning after Pesach 2014. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe Margaret Vogel blessed memory. Apples for the Orchard contains selections of teachings from the Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski.
Oh.
Okay. So last week we learned about the passage of Torah that speaks about all the offerings. The first one is the daily offerings, and then comes Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and then it goes to Pesach and goes through all of the festival holidays, including Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Then, after the first one, the daily offerings, it says at the end, by many of them, that this is aside from the daily offering. So there are two ways it says this. I think by one of them maybe it doesn't say it at all, but by two of them, if you want to know for sure, listen to last week's class. It says al olas atamid, which means on top, which literally means on, but it's used to be on top of the daily offering or in addition to the daily offering. And what we are learning here, it understands it takes it to mean literally on top of the daily offering. And the other thing that's different is some of them it says that these are the offerings that teaseh, that should be done in the passive voice, and some of them are ta'aseh or ta'asu, you shall do, in the active voice. So last week we talked about Shabbos, and Shabbos we add. It didn't say either. One of the things that we said about Shabbos. What? Yeah, so for Shabbos, it says on top of or in addition to. And so one of the things we point out for Shabbos is that we've talked many times about the interaction that occurs between Chachma and Bina, between Abba and Ima, and then between Zerampin and Malchus, Zerampin and Nukva. So we said that, and I guess when we talk about interaction, we're talking most significantly about Ze'er Ampin and Nukva, the seven lower Sephiras. And we said on Shabbos, interaction between Ze'er Ampin and Nukva takes place because of the angels. And so once it takes place between Ze'er Ampin and Nukva, this is Shabbos at the night. Therefore, it's appropriate for people to have marital relations. Shabbos by day, the interaction takes place as a result of our efforts. We go daven, we learn. And this is what causes the interaction to take place. And therefore, marital relations is prohibited during this time. And it doesn't, I don't think it explicitly explains, but basically either because it's up to us, we'd have to be busy with things like davening and learning, and frivolous pursuits, not in other things. Or that the only time it's appropriate is if it's initiated from above. If the interaction takes place and the initiation from above, then it's appropriate for people to engage in relations. And we said that typically, ordinarily, relations by day is forbidden. There are exceptions. There are times when relations by day is permitted. So we did that and that's important because it'll come up again through here. The fact that Shabbos it is that apparently if the interaction occurs through our efforts, then the Torah would use the word you shall do, ta'aseh or ta'asu, you shall do this. If it's not done through our efforts, then the Torah says te'aseh, it will be done in the passive voice. And it says that it's on. By Shabbos, it says in addition to or on top of the daily offerings. And that's because the Shabbos is holy on its own. We'll have other explanations here, or we'll follow along those lines. That's what I wanted to repeat. We're on 808. In the middle of the page, where it says Pesach and Rosh Chodesh. Please allow me to share. Welcome, everybody. It's nice to have a full house. This looks like it. Okay, come on. We're at number 13. Alan, can you read that?
Oh, I can read it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next passage focuses on the male. No. No. Okay, let's go to 11. Okay. We just lost 5 yards.
Must be 12.
11, I think. No, 12. I'm going to start from 11. As we said, I'm not sure. As we said, 2 types of interaction occur on Shabbos. The first one not through our efforts, and the other through our efforts. Therefore, the Torah does not say you should do or shall be done by Shabbos. 12. Okay, 12. On Pesach and Rosh Chodesh, only one interaction occurs. Like the interaction of Friday night, it occurs on its own, not through human efforts. In the words of the Zohar, interaction that occurs on Pesach is not from our side, meaning not because of our initiation. In the offerings of Pesach and Rosh Chodesh, the Torah says, on top of the daily offering, it shall be done. On top implies that interaction occurs, while it shall be done in the passive voice implies that it occurs on its own.
Word does redundant.
Give 2 does.
Where are you?
Or after the Torah says, in quotes, on top of the.
That one?
That,
You got 2 does.
right.
Okay, thanks for pointing that out, for bringing my attention. Okay, so and Alan, you don't have your book, right?
No, hopefully next week.
Oh, yeah, hopefully next week. Okay, so Jim, please begin 808 on Pesach.
On Pesach and Rosh Chodesh, a supernal coupling also occurs, but it occurs by itself without our initiation of the that the coupling that occurs on Pesach is not from our side. Therefore, in the context of Rosh Chodesh and Pesach, the Torah says, above the daily sacrifice, it shall be done, implying that there's a supernal coupling and
Okay, thank you. Now, 13. The next, we're going to change that.
Mhm.
Let me write the next page. The next page or the next section focuses, I'm wondering. Okay, well, I had a question about something. We'll see if it comes up. The next page focuses on the male and female facets of Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh. The sun is considered male and the moon is considered female. I hope we're taking notes, Abigail. Kabbalah sees the defining trait of
I have
male
heard that.
as what?
I have heard that before. So,
Yeah, I figured it's in there.
yeah.
Kabbalah sees the defining trait of male as the purveyor and the defining trait of female as the one that receives. The sun produces its own light. And again, that's really important. Male is something that gives or purveys, and female is receives. The sun produces its own light. The moon only shines with light it receives from the sun. You know, everywhere you read about it, and all the articles or books, they always say that the moon reflects the light of the sun. No, the moon doesn't reflect the light of the sun. We can see the moon where the sun shines on it. That's it. The sun shines on the moon.
Hmm.
We can see the section of the moon that on which the sun shines.
I never questioned that, but why would a moon that's made of dust reflect anything, right? It doesn't.
Well, it's lit up by the
Lit
sun.
up by the sun, yeah.
Depends
And
on
then
the
and
dust.
then we have moonlight. So technically, yes, it reflects the light of the sun, but I think it's very confusing. It makes it sound like it's made of glass or something.
Right.
It's not. It just we can see the part that's lit. That's that on which the sun is shining. Okay,
Well,
so
I'd like to inform you that moon dust, when compressed heavily, can turn into glass.
Oh,
okay, that's good to know next time I'm at the moon. Dust. And I need a glass. I'll compress it. Thanks,
Oh,
Rudy.
buddy.
Is that true for any dust or just moon dust?
Um, moon dust has a basis of silica.
You need to
Okay.
have a silica base to it. If it doesn't have a silica base, it's not going to turn into glass. It's the silica that turns into the glass substance.
Oh, wow.
Due
Okay.
to the increased pressure, many thousand times pressure that compacts it together.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Similar to what turns carbon into a diamond.
Okay,
Very good.
very good. Okay, the moon only. Shabbos is compared to the sun. Shabbos comes every 7 days. And also I should put this in. The cycle of the sun is constant. Yes, sometimes some days we have more daylight, some days less daylight, but basically the cycle of the sun is 24 hours. And that is constant. A day is determined by the sun. So that's Shabbos. Shabbos is constant. It's every seventh day. Rosh Chodesh is based on the moon, which is, and some months are 29 days, some months 30 days. The cycle of the moon is compared to the cycle of women, which are both for similar durations. Furthermore, Abba or Chachma is a male sphera, while Ima or Bina is a female sphera. The first and third letters of Hashem's name, Yud and Vav, are male, while the second and fourth letters, Hey and Hey, are female. Remember that the four letters of Hashem's name correspond to Yud is Chachma, Hey is Bina, Vav is Zerampin, and Hey is Malchus. So Yud Chachma is the male that interacts with Hey, Bina, the female, and that's in the spheres of intellect, And the spheres that correspond to emotions, the Vav is the male of Zerampin, and the Hey, the female of Malchut. These two interact, are male and female, that interact the spheres of emotions. So yeah. If you call your wife, hey you, then it's appropriate. Okay, hey is the female.
You'd've.
What?
Trying to think of what you could say to your husband. You'd've.
Oh, you Vav.
You'd,
Vav you.
you'd have.
Well, okay.
I
No,
don't know.
I've told a few people that when you greet someone with hey, the proper response, people don't know this, I don't know why. Proper response is hey yourself. But okay. All right. So go ahead, Jim. 808 at the bottom.
By the way, this also explains the difference between Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh in the following way. On the Sabbath, the male principle predominates due to the influence of Abba, but on Rosh Chodesh, the female principle predominates due to the influence of Ima. The Sabbath is a solar phenomenon occurring every seventh day, while Rosh Chodesh is a lunar phenomenon occurring when the moon begins its cycle anew. This
Okay, my turn. 15. A pasuk in Yechezkel reads, Shar hachatzer yisagur sheishis meyamasa uviyam hashavas yipaseach, uviyam hachodesh yipaseach. The gate of the courtyard will be closed 6 days of work, but on Shabbos it will be opened, and on the first day of the month it will be opened. Now the first letters of the 4 words, and in my notes they are in bold and a larger size, days of work but on Shabbos, are the letters of Hashem's name in order. If you look up on the top line of the notes, there's a bold Yud, then Hey, then Vav, then Hey. So there's the letters of Hashem's name in order. We view the letters in 2 sets, the first 2 and the last. The order of the letters is male, female, male, female. In each set, the male comes first. This is in the words that relate to Shabbos, indicating that on Shabbos, the male is dominant or primary. And this is the proper order. It should be male, then female, then next level or the next generation, male and female. Go ahead, Jim, 809.
Okay.
Oh, they missed a
That
word.
this alluded to in the verse. The gate of the inner courtyard of the temple will be closed during the 6 days of the work week, but on Shabbos it shall be open, and on the day of the new month it shall be opened. We see first in this verse the name Chavaya written in order in the context of the Sabbath, and the initials of the words days of the week, but only on the Sabbath day. These words read Yemi Hamashet Ma'eshet You Yom HaShabbos. The initials of these words in order are Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, name Chavaya.
Continue.
In the name Havaya, written normally, the male letters Yud and Vav overpower the female letters Hey and Hey. 4 letters of the name Havaya are associated with the 4 parts of Fim, Abba, Ima, Zeranpin, and Nukva, respectively. Thus, the Yud and Vav are male letters, while the 2 Heys are female letters. In the 2 couples, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, male principle proceeds, and therefore dominates the female principle.
Okay. 16. In the same pasuk, the letters of Avaya are initials of the words related to Rosh Chodesh, but now in a different order. And I copied and pasted the same words. Shara Chaser Yasagor Sheishis Memasa. The gates of the courtyard will be closed for the 6 days of the work week. Uviyom HaShabbos Yipaseach, Uviyom HaChodesh Yipaseach. And on the day of Shabbos, they'll be opened. On the day of Rosh Chodesh, they'll be opened. So in the first set, now the order is Hey. Once again, we have the 4 letters, the Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, but they're in different order. In the first set, the order is Hey Yud, so that's reversed. The female is first, indicating that on Rosh Chodesh, the female is dominant or primary. Go ahead.
But in the context of Rosh Chodesh, it is written, the Sabbath it shall be opened, and on the day of the new month. The initials of these words also spell the name Havaya, but with the first Hey, which is Ima, ruling over the Yud, which is Abba. These words read Chashavas, Yipatei, Ach, Uveyom, Chachodesh. The initials of these words are Hey Yud, Vav Hey. This is the name Havaya with its first two letters reversed, indicating the ascendancy of the female Ima over the male Abba. Returning to the main train of thought.
Okay, so now this is the end of Rosh Chodesh. So this, before we said, when we started the class tonight, that on Rosh Chodesh, the interaction above occurs without our initiative. And we said before, like last week, that when that happens, oh, no. It said when it's without our initiative. It said then relations are permitted. But when our initiative is needed, then relations would not be permitted. Okay, so that fits. So no problem with Rosh Chodesh. Pesach is up in the air at this point. Okay, let's go ahead to 17. Now, and so then from now till the end, we're going to talk about Shavuos. On Shavuos, marital relations are forbidden by night and day. Instead, we say stay up the entire night and study Torah. The Zohar explains that by studying Torah, we prepare jewelry or ornaments for the woman. The word in the original is matronisa, which is similar to the English word matron. It means like for a prominent woman. In this case, it means the female sphera. Chapter 3 of Yeshaya lists 24 ornaments, pieces of jewelry. Our rabbis connect these with the 24 books of Tanakh. The Torah says, Vayivi'eha, Hashem brought Chava to Adam. That which means that Adam and Chava got married. Hashem brought Chava to Adam. The Medrash says that he prepared her for the wedding. You know what he did to prepare her for the wedding? He braided her hair.
Oy.
In other words, he made sure she looked presentable. But what it says is that he braided her hair. This is a play on words in one of the words in the Torah. So it says Hashem brought Chava to Adam, which has a gematria. The word Vayavi'eha, 610 is 16, 2, 1, and 5 is another 8. Another 8?
Yes.
Yeah, which has a gematria of 24. After they sinned in the Garden of Eden, Hashem said, Ve'eva, I will place enmity between the snake and the woman, which actually has the same letters as Vayavi'eha. I never realized that. He brought her, and therefore the same gematria. So again, we have 24. And this refers to the 24 types of venom that the snake injected into Chava. The 24, apparently, it seems that she lost the 24 ornaments. The 24 ornaments were restored and the venom removed when the Jewish people received the Torah. That actually I've seen in the Gemara somewhere, that the Zuamas HaNachash, the venom or the muck or scum of the snake was removed when the Jewish people received the Torah. Guess what? They got it back when they worshiped the calf. As we know, at Har Sinai, the Jewish people were compared to a bride and Hashem the groom. Now, it's not written explicitly here, but it seems that just like on Shabbat day, when the interaction above is initiated by our efforts, relations are forbidden. So too on Shavuos, when the interaction is initiated by our study of Torah all night, relations are forbidden. And I think it is, like, I don't think it's written explicitly later. It could be it shows up. I think it shows up later. Halachically, relations are not forbidden, but they are in the spirit of Torah. They are discouraged for Shavuos night, but halachically, it's not forbidden. Gershon, are you ready?
More or less. Blah, 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 blah. On Shavuos, marital relations are forbidden, both by day and by night, as Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai states in the Zohar, that we must stay up the whole night on Shavuos learning the Torah. This is because on the night of Shavuos, we are preparing ornaments for the matron. The Torah was given on the early morning. Hashem had to wake us up to give us the Torah, and this is seen as a sign of disrespect for the divine gift. In order to rectify this error, it is customary to stay up the night of Shavuos, learning Torah in anticipation of the annually repeated revelation that occurs in the early morning. A more mystical reason for this custom is the one mentioned here. We must prepare the ornaments for the matron or bride. The giving of the Torah is the marriage between Hashem, the groom, and the Jewish people, the bride. The flow of the Torah's divine insight and wisdom from Hashem to us being analogues to the flow of vital seed from the groom to the bride on the wedding night. It is stated in the Zohar that Hashem prepared Eve for her wedding with Adam by adorning her with 24 ornaments, the numerical value of the word, and he brought her to Adam. Is 24. The primordial snake contaminated her with 24 types of venom. The word, and I shall place enmity between you and her, in Hashem's curse of the snake is spelled with the same letters as the word for, and he brought her. And its numerical value is therefore also 24. When we received the Torah at Mount Sinai, we were purified from the defilement of the snake, the fallen consciousness of self-orientation, and the 24 ornaments were restored to us, the new Eve. The same word appears on the initials of the key phrases in the passages describing how these 24 ornaments were restored. The 24 ornaments are listed in Isaiah 3:18 to 24. The 24 ornaments are manifest as the 24 books of the Torah, the 5 books of Moshe, the 7 books of prophets, the 9 books of writings. It is therefore customary to spend the night of Shavuos reading selections of these books, chiefly the beginning and the end of each parsha of the Torah and the books of prophet and writings, plus selections of the oral law as well. This is called tikkun, rectification or restoration of the 24 ornaments of the bride. The matron is the female principle, the Shekhinah, which is the collective soul of the Jewish people. The bride, we are adorning by learning Torah on Shavuos night, is thus essentially our individual selves and the Jewish people collectively. Since we're busy with the workings of the supernal coupling on Shavuos night, marital relations are forbidden to us.
Okay. 18. It seems that the earlier paragraph refers to the night of Shavuos. By day, however, relations are also forbidden, but for a different reason. Zer Ampin and Nukva are both offspring, and Abba and Ima, and can be called brother and sister, even though we usually refer to them as husband and wife. Sarah was called Abraham's sister, even though... I'm sorry, I skipped the next paragraph. Gershon, go ahead with the next paragraph, but on Shavuos.
But on Shavuos, Zer Ampin is not rectified by us, but rather by Ima, as it is written, with the crown of his mother, Ima, crowned him on the day of his wedding. As above, Shavuos is the wedding day between Hashem and Israel. During the Sabbath day, marital relations are forbidden because during the day we must effect the coupling by actively performing mitzvahs. On Shavuos, this is not the case since the rectification of Zer Ampin occurs without us. Hashem, without the perfect of Parsuf of Ima, bestows Zerampin his crown, that means his delight, and will be vis-a-vis Torah study and observance of the commandments.
Yeah, give me one moment, please.
I didn't know people couldn't have relations during Shabbos, daytime.
We saw that last week.
Oh,
I did,
halfway through the video, I started it, and finish it.
I didn't know either. But
I-
as Chaim said, maybe not halachically, maybe just.
What's that?
Abigail said, I didn't know that we couldn't have relations on Shabbos day. And I said, well, we mentioned that last week, but is that halachically or
I don't think that's halachically.
correct? Yeah.
Kabbalistically. I mean,
Correct.
again, halachically, relations are forbidden by day, period, with exceptions.
Guess I did know that.
With exceptions. Okay, it says, I remember the first time I came across this quote, and I was like, what is going on here? From the book of Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs. Go forth and gaze, O daughters of Zion. This daughter is distinguished by loyalty to God upon the king to whom peace belongs, adorned with the crown his nation made for him on the day his law was given and became one with Israel. On the day his heart was gladdened by his tabernacle's consecration. The literal is go out and gaze, daughters of Zion, on King Shlomo, on the crown that his mother crowned him. Their mother adorned or crowned for him on the day of his wedding and the day of his rejoicing. So this is that means on the day his law was given and became one with Israel, the day the Torah was given. And okay, one of the meanings is that the Mishkan was crowned with coverings of colored skins. But here it refers to the special adornments. We say it refers to special adornments of the day we got the Torah. And therefore, what does it say that his mother gave him? This implies that it comes from Bina. It's related to Bina, and Bina is dominant. That's the idea of that it emphasizes his mother. Okay, now I'm going to go back to note 18. It seems that the earlier paragraph refers to the night of Shavuos. Oh, and then we have the day of Shavuos. By day, relations are also forbidden, but for a different reason. Zer Ampin and Nukva are both offspring, and Abba and Ima can be called brother and sister, even though we usually refer to them as husband and wife. For example, Sarah was called Avraham's sister, even though she was actually the daughter of his brother, so she was his niece. Avram and his brother had the same father, but different mothers. So Avram, when the king Avimelech took away Sarah, and Avram said, she's my sister, it wasn't an outright lie. It was a relative, which can also be called a sister. And I think I have to read the next one as well. Apparently, Zerampin and Nukva can only interact when they receive primarily from Abba, but not from Ima. They receive from Abba the night of Shabbos, and therefore it's an ideal time for marital relations. But on the day of Shavuos, Zerampin receives primarily from Ima. The wisdom, Bina, of Torah is conveyed to Israel, and relations are therefore forbidden. The first tablets were given on Shavuos, and the second tablets on Yom Kippur. On both days, Bina is dominant, and therefore relations are forbidden. Okay, Abigail, Would you like to continue? Page 810 at the bottom.
Therefore, marital relations are forbidden on Shavuos, just as they are on Yom Kippur. This is the mystical meaning of the verse, she is my sister, my father's daughter, but she is not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. The whole night there is no supernal coupling, for Nukva of Zeranpin must immerse herself the following morning, as is explained in the Zohar there. The verse quoted was Abraham's answer to Abimelech as to why he referred to his wife Sarah as a sister. Sarah was Abraham's niece, i.e., his father's granddaughter, but through a different mother. Since granddaughters often call their grandfather's father, Sarah could loosely be called Abraham's sister. This alludes to the relationship between Zeranpin and Nukva. They are both offspring of Abba and Ima and are therefore brother and sister in addition to groom and bride. It is explained in the Zohar that Zeranpin and Nukva may couple only when Zeranpin and Nukva are receiving consciousness or light from Abba, but only the extremely intense light of Abba, i.e., the pure light of the original insight, can expel the forces of evil that always seek to intervene and siphon off the flow from Zeranpin to Nukva. Therefore, marital relations are chiefly encouraged on the Sabbath Shabbat night when Abba is shining into Zeranpin and Nukva. At such times, they are considered more the offspring of Abba than of Ima, not the daughter of my mother, and therefore she became my wife. On festival nights, however, when Zeranpin is receiving consciousness chiefly from Ima, marital relations are not encouraged. Specifically, on Shavuos Day, they are forbidden, for on Shavuos, Zeranpin is receiving chiefly from Ima, as the Torah, God's intellect, is being given over to Israel. The Zohar explains that the mikvah in which Nukva immerses is the 50th gate of understanding, Bina, Ima, the level of divine consciousness granted to us on Shavuos by virtue of the 49 gates of understanding we achieved on our own by counting the 49 days of the Omer. The second tablets were given on Yom Kippur, so there is therefore an affinity between Yom Kippur and Shavuos. Shavuos is the culmination of the new year that began with Pesach, the renewal of the spring, while Yom Kippur is the completion of the new year of Rosh Hashanah. Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres are seen as the revelation of the consciousness that was already elicited from on high during the 10 days from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. Both Yom Kippur and Shavuos are therefore days of the giving of the Torah. This could also be why the Arizal does not address in this passage what happens on Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres. They are just projections of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur onto lower conscious reality.
Okay. Bottom line is that Zeranpin and Nukva can only interact when they receive primarily from Abba. And it says on Shavuos by day is primarily Ima. Ima is dominant, and then it also compares it to Yom Kippur, when obviously relations are forbidden. 20. On Shavuos, it does not say on top of the daily offerings. This is because Zeranpin and Nukva interact because of Ima and not Abba. Abba is not dominant. Apparently, it'll say on top of or in addition to only when Abba is dominant. And relations are permitted. Okay, go ahead.
But on the day of Shavuos, Zeranpin and Nukva couple solely through the influence of Ima. Ima escorts Zeranpin and Nukva to the bridal chamber, so to speak, the powerful flow of intellect into our consciousness that occurs when the Torah is given on Shavuos serves as sufficient inspiration for the union of the emotions and their means of expression. The excitement over the new insights and understanding inspires us both to get emotionally involved with the Torah and seek to disseminate its message to outside reality.
21. But on Shavuos, it does say you shall do. because the interaction of Zeran Pin and Nukva occurs as a result of our efforts, as we said, through our study of Torah at night to prepare for the adornments for the bride, to prepare the adornments for the bride. Therefore, it says, you shall do in the active voice. Go ahead.
This explains the textual differences we pointed out above with regard to Shavuos. For since the coupling of Zeranpin and Nukva occurs because of Ima and not Abba, it is not written above the daily offering. On Shavuos, Zeranpin and Nukva do not ascend to the level of Abba, only to the level of Ima. They are thus above their normal level, and therefore the Musaf offerings are ascending Olah offerings, but not above the above, all Olat.
Okay, alolat, usually we translate in addition to the Ola offering. The Ola is the name of the offering. Here he says Ola, he translates as on top of. On top of on top. They're both words. Al Olat. 22. For all the offerings in this section of the Torah. Okay, we're done with that. And now we're going to go to another difference. For all the offerings in the section of the Torah says Timimim without blemish. In all the offerings, it is written early on in the passage. For Shavuos, it's written at the end. This is because it is not without blemish until we prepare the bride with 24 ornaments through Torah study during the night.
But this
Don't
same
ask me what it is. This is because it is not without blemish. I don't know what it is, but go ahead, Abigail.
For the same reason, in the case of all the other festivals, the word unblemished is written before mention of the daily offering, as it is written, and 7 one-year-old sheep unblemished, ... above, beside the daily offering. But in the case of Shavuos, the word unblemished is not written until the end. Beside the daily sacrifice and its meal offering, you shall do them. They will be unblemished for you with their libations. This is because they are not unblemished and completed until after we rectify the matron and she immerses herself in the morning. Only after this are they perfected and fully rectified. It is therefore written, first you shall do, and only after that unblemished. In contradistinction to all other festivals, the supernal union of Shavuos is especially dependent on our active participation by preparing the bride's adornments when we stay up the whole night.
All right, thank you. So there are subtle differences here between the passages for the offerings for the varying holidays. There's a subtle difference here and there. Like by all of them, it says Timimim during the course of the passage that it's unblemished, and only for Shavuos is it written near the end. I never noticed that before. There's other things that stick out, especially if you lane, because you're used to reading it, and then the trup might be different because here it has, because there's a slight difference. There's that's difference in order. For Chol Hamoed Sukkos and Chol Hamoed Pesach, or for the first day, where the Torah says for the first days, there's a slight difference. And this happens many times, but there's a slight difference. And at one time on Pesach, I started to read, and for Chol Hamoed, and I couldn't get out of the gate. I was like the first words, I was 2 or 3 times, and I couldn't, it wasn't going, and I was getting stuck. And then I realized that I was 1 column over. I was in the column for Sukkot, and I needed to be in the column before that, which was about Shavuos, which was about Pesach. And the first 3 words have a slightly different order. The meaning is the same. But and we have many times like this, and you think, well, why over here is the word included, over there the word's not included? And so here, right, what we just learned is a subtle difference that you're not going to find in too many places. I mean, the Gemara has its share, but many of these things I am coming across now and then in either what we learn here in the Arizal or in the Shalah. So that just fascinating to see how these minute differences or sometimes anomalies in the text have a special meaning.
I bet the meaning is echoed all over the Torah and we just don't see it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of these are more popular. You'll find them in the Gemara. Thousands are found in the Gemara. But there are others that are not found in Gemara and only found in